This is a me, a type of avatar created for the Wii. The me is a simulacrum of a person. The name me implies selfhood. Nintendo was prompting me to use the medium of the me to create a representation of me. But I have never made a me of myself, and I don't think I ever will. I make me's to live in the virtual life simulator game Tomodachi Life. At a first glance, the game genre life simulator or life sim is pretty self-explanatory. You create characters to play dollhouse with, and they engage in mundane life activities such as small talk, eating food, taking care of children. But me's are not alive. Me's are immortal beings. They cannot die. What does it mean for a life simulator to be good? Is the best life sim a one-to-one replication of life? Games in the genre oftentimes get shit on for being boring. Why would I play a gamified version of the thing that I do every day? I feel like these critiques oftentimes come from people who have never played them, and I think there's a lot more meat on the metaphorical bones of the genre than meets the eye. Life sims open up to a kind of situational comedy that you can't really find in any other game genres. Tomodachi Life especially is kind of just like a big old game of Mad Libs. But at the heart of my ramblings here today is an emergent property that I see in life simulator games. In order to create one, you have to make a statement about what life is. The version of life being simulated can't really be like life. And so we have to pick and choose, what does it mean to be a human being? And with The Sims and Tomodachi Life, we have two very opposing life frameworks. From the get, The Sims offers a player lots of control and customization. The character creation screen is highly in-depth, and you can give your character niche music tastes, weird personality quirks, physical features that are highly specific. This then gives way to what I would describe as a complicated set of linear gameplay loops. You have your Sims get a job, interact with other people, have various hobbies, and maintain all of their personal needs. The important indicators as to how well your sim is doing, as well as how good your sim is at anything, is categorized into a neat little bar. All you really have to do to have a successful sim life is fill up lots of bars and keep these bars out of the red, or else you piss yourself. There are very many pathways and progressions that your sim can take, but they are all narrow and linear. And if I'm being quite honest, they are very rarely intertwined. It is an extremely frictionless linear progression from new sim who is like a little baby and doesn't know shit or have any money or goals, and old sim who is rich as fuck and has so many friends and is so cool and beautiful. I have never had a sim get rejected by a potential love interest. I have never had a sim work their whole life towards a job only to discover that they hate it. It is pretty much impossible to find yourself in financial turmoil in The Sims if you play the game with any amount of strategy. The road to an idealized life is smooth, well taken care of, and if I'm being frank, not all that scenic. This level of control has always drawn me as a player to engage in self-insertion. I make characters who represent me to live in the fantasy world where I'm in control of my destiny. And as much as I like being in the world of The Sims, I do not find The Sims at all relatable. Really, it feels more like an idealized version of the American dream than anything that I relate to. Even with extreme levels of customization at my fingertips, I think I sometimes feel less connected to my sim than I do my random me of Tracer from Overwatch. Now, unlike The Sims, Tomodachi Life is an extremely bare-bones life simulator. The character creator is maybe 1/50th of The Sims in terms of its scope and number of features. The things that me's can actually do with each other is a lot more limited. I've played for many hours with my roommate, and our island looks like a bunch of celebrities who we either love, pity, or hate, and they've created this sort of complex social web with each other. David Lynch and Mario Judah are lovers. I don't know how we got here, but we did. The pathway to self-realization for a me is bumpy and windy, unlike that of The Sims. It's also kind of direction agnostic. A me will spontaneously decide that they are in love with another me, and through mostly random encounters that the game feeds you, they will make unlikely friends with each other. And isn't that often how life feels? All of your traits, relationships, belongings, you're just kind of there. You might create a narrative, a backstory for who you are, but at the end of the day, it's not very easy to place your finger on why. I find this version of life much more relatable than The Sims, but the irony of the me, not only in its name, is that I feel disincentivized to create myself. I wouldn't want to watch my me get angry at Victor Wembanyama. I wouldn't want to see her spontaneously fall in love with Andrea Dworkin. I don't want to surrender that much of my agency, even if it means I, like a me, could live forever. But regardless, I love my me's and their little immortal lives, and I do not wish death upon them, nor do they wish death upon themselves. Hey gamers, I'm beaming in from Editorland because I think I kind of neglected to make clear a very important part about the gameplay of Tomodachi Life, which is that once you create a me, not only do they just do a bunch of random stuff, but anytime you want to influence them to trigger a cutscene that you want to happen or sort of make a relationship form, you are going to get frustrated because you really can't do anything other than give them stuff and tell them who to talk to. I wrote most of the script having not played The Sims in kind of a while, although I needed to collect footage, so I started a new playthrough. Most of the points that I made about The Sims gameplay were very easy to prove. I quite quickly became very successful in my career, making $70 an hour. I successfully wooed a beautiful woman without really any friction, especially because it tells you whether or not the two Sims have good compatibility. I got awesome at the guitar and the piano without ever listening to any music. So, good job, me. But then something happened. My Sim died. I'm fucking dead. My Sim just fucking died. Damn, bro. Don't try to fix electronics if you don't know what you're doing, you'll fucking die. In hindsight, what I was doing was very reckless. I was trying to fix an electrical device after having already been zapped once. However, in the moment I was just progressing through the game and death snuck up on me. When my Sim died, I felt grief. Grief for the trajectory of her entertainment career being cut short. Grief for her girlfriend who she was falling in love with. For a moment, I felt genuinely violated that the game would just take life away from me. And this really gave me a eureka moment. Playing The Sims might be unbelievably unrealistic. It might boil the nuance of life into extremely linear and narrow progressions. It might also even be a piece of American propaganda. In fact, it is. But regardless, playing The Sims showed me what comfort I could find in having agency and control over my life. And when all of the sudden I lost that control, I realized that I love my Sims life. I love living. I love me. I had no reason to continue playing past this point. I had already shut off my recording, I had grabbed the footage that I needed, and I was ready to set out and make this video. But regardless, I felt compelled to reload the last save and continue on with life as though nothing had happened. I'm not playing The Sims to experience life, I'm playing The Sims to be in control. When I set out to create this script, I wanted to make a point about how the randomness in Tomodachi life feels more real than The Sims, and how, maybe it is a better representation of life. But I can now say with confidence that each game has taught me a message about life and has caused me to reflect on the nature of living, and I think that's beautiful, even if at the end of the day, they're both bullshit.